Hey everybody, welcome back to Tar Heel 24/7 here on the 24/7 Sports CBS Sports Network. I am TH247, 24/7 publisher Andrew Jones, and it's time for another Daily Drop. The topic today is North Carolina quarterback Max Johnson. Before I get into him, very quick reminder, we still have a 75% off sale for a subscription to a one-year membership here at Tar Heel 24/7. It is our launch promo. We launched at 12:01 a.m. last Friday morning. The promo is still going on. 75% off, guys. Can't beat that. Fantastic deal. They don't ever go any higher than that, apparently at 24/7, and they're rolling it right now with you guys. So if you were part of us at the previous place, come on over. It's 75% off, and you can now be a part of us moving forward, and we're going to have a ton more than we ever did before. All right, Max Johnson. I know how a lot of Carolina fans thought about Max Johnson. I know a lot of them were kind of iffy on the fence when Carolina brought him in. They weren't 100% sure. He struggled in the first half against Minnesota. A lot of people made determining opinions about what kind of quarterback he was based on a half of football. Fans tend to do that. Sometimes media does that. He was doing a little bit better in the third quarter, having a little bit more success. They kind of tightened the passing game a little bit. He was getting, I wouldn't say he was getting a rhythm going, but he was completing some passes and getting a little footing. And then the injury occurs. And nobody has seen him throw a pass since then in a game situation because it was a devastating injury, one that we learned shortly after. I say shortly, within a couple of weeks. A couple of us had some opportunities to talk to people inside the program about it, and we're told things along the lines of could have had an amputation, was very close to getting the thing amputated, may never walk again, may never walk properly again, certainly won't play football ever again. That was pretty much the message coming out of the program for a long while. So you fast forward to Bill Belichick replacing Mack Brown as head coach, and Max Johnson's still in the program. I was checking in with the few sources that were still there last winter about Max, whether he was even there or not. Was he throwing with anybody? Did you see him in the weight room? You see him in the building? Not a whole lot. It was really hard to get stuff on Max. I understand why. Maybe a lot of people just didn't know anything, and also people are trying to protect him, and I get that, and I appreciate that. We get to spring practice. I asked Belichick about Max. Yeah, he's coming along. No definitive answers because they didn't have any. We get to the end of spring practice, same kind of deal. We get into June. Early June, we had a press conference with Bill Belichick. I asked him about Max Johnson. He's coming along. No end game, no end date in sight. We just don't know. But he had made progress. So now here we are. Training camp is underway, and Max Johnson was practicing. Bill Belichick said he's about 80%. I think when he's talking 80% as a head coach, he's thinking game ready. We had Max after the first practice this past Saturday, and Max said he's 100% full go, could do everything. And so people are trying to understand what that means. And basically, the player's ready to go, player's rolling, but the head coach and the training staff, they're not ready to fully integrate him as a 100% in-game kind of guy. Okay, let's put all that aside. The real point of this isn't what kind of football player Max Johnson can be for North Carolina. And he may end up being the quarterback who takes the most snaps. We don't know. I'm not even going to get into that right now. But he will be the quarterback that Carolina fans whose story they should learn, and a player they should embrace. Whatever you thought about Max before, whether you like him as a quarterback for your team or not, you need to embrace this guy. You need to learn his story. You need to listen to the 11 or 12 minutes or so that we talked to him Saturday at the Kingdom Football Center about his story. I applaud him for having the guts to tell the truth, to tell all, to open up about it. How many guys his age are going to tell a bunch of TV cameras, my parents had to change me? When I was that age, I didn't want anybody to know anything bad. I did my hair before I went out to go get the mail. I had to make sure I was a little bit primped up. You never know who passes by. Some guys aren't like that. Back in my day, I guess we were. The preppy era, the old preppy era, the preppy handbook era. But for Max to open up the way he did, to tell us that what some of the things we knew. We knew that he was in the hospital for 2 weeks after the injury. It took 2 weeks before he came home. We were told 6 surgeries. He said 5. We were also told the last surgery that he had, and we were told this a year ago, almost a year ago, that the last surgery was a very risky one because if it didn't work, there was a danger that he could lose his leg. But if you're Max Johnson and you're laying in that bed and your femur's broken and you've been there for a while and all your teammates and buddies are back in Chapel Hill getting ready to play a game, next man up is the football mentality. It's a sports mentality, but certainly in football because a lot of guys are going down. And there he is up there in Minneapolis, and he's got a doctor saying, well, if this works, you have a chance maybe to play again. But if it doesn't, you could lose the leg. Max Johnson was full bore straight ahead. I want to play again. I'm going to play again. There had to be awful moments of his laying in bed at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, wondering. But he told us that he didn't have a lot of that because A, he believed in himself, and B, he believed in his faith. And that gave him additional fuel to get through this, to get through it mentally, psychologically, emotionally, still having to stay academically eligible, still having to do your schoolwork, and also dealing with the other realities of the uncertainties about life in general. Yeah, he wants to play again, but in the back of the mind, if you're told you may not walk right again, you want to have kids, you want to be able to play with your kids. There's a lot of stuff that can go through someone's mind. But the one constant through his mind from a football perspective was he was going to come back and play. So he lays on his back for 5, 6 weeks. His parents are changing him. He said he took his first steps sometime well into October. I remember the injury occurred August 28th or 29th. And then you fast forward to December when I'm in Fenway Park at the bowl game in the press box before the game, and I see him out there. I'm like, wow, he's walking around. He's even throwing the ball. I didn't expect to see that because we didn't see him around the football center when we were around. And that alone, to me, was a huge positive given what we had been told. Now here he is, almost having the thing amputated, at least running the risk. Like I said, parents changing him. That's humbling. It's got to be so humbling. I don't know what that's like. It's got to be humbling. Given every reason in the world to walk away from football, given every reason in the world, you know what? My family's well off. I don't need to do this. I don't need to subject myself to this grueling grind to get back. I had a pretty good career. I threw 47 touchdown passes in the SEC. I'm okay with that. This is God's plan for me. I'm okay with that. But Max saw a different plan, and he attacked it, and he achieved it. It's an incredible story, and listening to him tell the story does 1,000 times more justice than I can do sitting here talking to you guys in a solo daily drop. But I'm here to express my admiration for Max Johnson, and I'm here to say that if he does play, I hope he does well. Sometimes you got to pull the journalist cap off enough to be human and tip the cap, bow, doff the cap, doing baseball stuff, and hope that he does well because it's such a cool story already. And if he happens to be the quarterback at some point, either by winning the job, beating out Gio Lopez, or because of attrition, I hope he does well. And when he does take the field, and he'll take the field at some point, I hope it's at home the first time, and I hope he gets a massive ovation because Max Johnson deserves it. Learn from him, guys. Whatever you thought of him as a quarterback before, eliminate that because in the end, it doesn't matter that much. But learn from him, embrace him, celebrate him, and like I am, admire him. Remember, guys, 75% off. Get on board Tar Heel 24/7. We have a massive thing going on now, so much bigger, better, deeper than ever before from where we were. So if you were this before, come with us now. You will not regret it. And make sure, guys, admiration and applause for Max Johnson. I'm AJ, and I appreciate you stopping by.